For the last segment of the day, we will be covering importance of safety and health in today's context, and our UV partner from Leeds Beckett University has put together some content for your listening pleasure. Mr. Rosman, please.
Good evening to all. Welcome on board MDIS Virtual Fair 2021. My name is Usman Abdul Halik. Is a course academic lead for the degree in Safety, Health, Environment Management. On behalf of the School of Safety and Environment, we welcome you on board this MDIS Virtual Fair. Yes, 2021 has been a very challenging year for us because of the COVID situation. But on top of that, we must reap this opportunity to actually enhance our knowledge and learn more. Having said that, we in MDIS would like to introduce a new master's program entitled Masters in Health and Safety. This Masters Health and Safety have two components. One component is the module-based learning, where students attend lectures. The other component is about research-based component, where students are assigned supervisors to do their research work. And of course, our supervisors are with wealth of knowledge and industrial working experience, and they can guide our students to enhance their research work. This master's program in safety and health, the duration is about 12 months for full-time student and 18 months for part-time student. We'd like you to enroll into this master's program for this year because this is our first batch of students in September. Having said that, I would like to introduce our Leeds Beckett University partner. The academic panel will actually explain in more detail and further information on the master's program, curriculum and structure. Without further ado, let's hear what they have to say. Thank you.
Hello and welcome to this short presentation about postgraduate study in health and safety at the Management Development Institute of Singapore, our franchise partner, which is approved by Leeds Beckett University. Before I go on to talk about the details of the course and what you're likely to experience, a little bit about myself. My name is Duncan Webb and I'm the course director for all safety, health and environmental management courses at Leeds Beckett. And that includes both undergraduate and postgraduate courses. And I'm also the link tutor between the university and our franchise partner, MDIS. Before we look at the content of the course in a bit more detail, a little bit about the university itself, Leeds Beckett. We have quite a long history stretching back almost 200 years. And in terms of our student population, we regularly attract students from all over the world in the region of 143 different countries and territories. So we have a very diverse population. We have excellent facilities, as do MDIS. But this year we will be, over the next 6 years, we'll be investing a further £200 million to improve the facilities across our university. Many of our courses are all also accredited by professional bodies, as is the master's course that we hope you're going to come and complete, and that's accredited by IOSH. One statistic that we're quite proud of is that bottom one there. As you can see, nearly 94% of all our graduates go on within the next 6 months after leaving the course to either in full-time employment or to further study in higher education, which may mean going on to undertake a PhD. In terms of the size of the student population at Leeds Beckett and our overseas partners, we have in the region of about 28,000 students, and in Leeds itself, we have quite a strong international intake of students in the region of about 1,700 a year. Again, from lots and lots of different areas around the world, from Canada through to India, through to Oman, all over. The teaching population, as you'll see there, we have 2,900 members of staff, so quite a large employer within the city, and those members of staff range from senior managers, deans of schools, full-time lecturers, part-time lecturers, the administration staff, the people who make it happen. But in total, we've got 2,900 people. In terms of our contribution to the local economy, we are a main contributor in terms of the money we bring into the local economy, somewhere in the region of about £520 million a year. So we are one of the most significant employers within the region, or contributors within the region. Just a few pictures there of Leeds. If you've not already sort of Googled the university to see what it's like. Just local shots from around the city, but Leeds is quite nicely positioned within the country. It's approximately midway, and that basically means that as the fourth largest city in the UK, we're never that far away from the countryside. So within 20 minutes we can be in open countryside or national parks. So we enjoy a fortunate location within the country. Just a couple of slides to show you some of that expansion and investment that's going on. We have two campuses in Leeds, one in Headingley, one in the city centre. That building in the middle that you can see there is our new teaching and research building, which opens in 2021. And within the city centre, we're opening in 2021 a new creative arts building, and those are recent investments for us. In terms of the types of the diversity of course that LBU look after and deliver, in the region of 200 postgraduate and 140 undergraduate courses across what we call 11 academic schools, and that's just a sample of some of the types of courses where we deliver, or that we deliver. And obviously I'd like to point your attention to the one at the top of the right hand column, health and safety. I mentioned academic schools, and the health and safety team of lecturers and staff that deliver that course sit within what we call the School of Clinical and Applied Science. Now, that school work with a variety of different external agencies and bodies. Two of those you can see there. We work with the Ministry of Defence in delivering teaching to their staff, and we also work with the NHS in terms of research and other activity. You'll see there the next two awards that really come under the health and safety team. We have a BSc in Safety, Health and Environmental Management, which is already being delivered by MDIS. But then this year, MDIS will be launching their Masters in Health and Safety, which you'll see on that line there. One of the strong points that we pride ourselves in is the people that deliver the teaching are all very experienced health and safety practitioners or specialists from a wide range of occupational sectors. So you will benefit strongly from the experience of those people. Both MDIS and LBU obviously have excellent facilities, and we both enjoy high levels of student progression and employment. We both maintain close links with various employment providers, and we find it very important to do that because it allows us to understand what the market demands. And if we think that the market is changing, the market is shifting, it allows us to review our course content, and if necessary we'll introduce new modules, or we'll go through a course revalidation, etc., to make sure that we're effectively producing the practitioners that employers want. We have an excellent global reputation, and as mentioned previously, we're accredited by the Institution of Occupational Safety and Health. Now, one of the questions that you're probably asking yourself is, well, okay, if I come and do the master's course, what will I learn? Now, the course is made up of a number of different modules, and those modules are the health and safety practice module, the quantitative risk analysis module, ergonomics, sensible risk management, professional practice and development, and occupational health and well-being. So they're what we term as core modules, as 6 core modules. On top of that, because it's a master's qualification you'll be going away with, there are 2 research modules. The first one is called Applied Research Methods. And then we've got a module which is called Research, Practice and Development. And that's really your dissertation module. So your dissertation sits under that module. Now, I'm going to talk about a couple of these modules and explain some of the content of some of them are, well, they're all interesting, but some of them are, shall we say, scientific. We have one called Quantitative Risk Analysis. And Quantitative Risk Analysis is a scenario-based module. So we will give you a diagram, a schematic, and it could be of a process, it could be of part of a site, it could be of a whole site. But then as part of that module, we'll teach you how to undertake what we call a HAZOP, or a hazard and operability study. Within your assignment, we'll ask you to conduct what we call a failure mode and effects analysis on the scenario that we give you. We'll ask you to construct a fault tree of that process and a fault tree of the errors in the components that can contribute to what we call a top event. Once we've drawn the fault tree, we'll ask you to apply probability data and to calculate the likelihood of that top event happening. In one of the questions that we ask you to look at in QRA, we'll also ask you to compile what we call an event tree analysis. And an event tree analysis really starts where the fault tree ends. So we've had a top event, we've had an undesired event occur, which could be an explosion or a fire. And in event tree analysis, we look at the consequences of that, not just to people on site, but also to the environment and to anybody in the local community. So we'll look at individual risk and societal risk. And that really will support the consequence analysis part of that as well. Now, one of the things as masters that we do is, in addition to the taught material, we'll also deliver a number of specific tutorials. And within QRA, I'll just show you a couple of them. One is material science, because it's very important as practitioners, you understand how materials behave. You understand what can happen when they're exposed to stress and to strain. So we'll look at how materials form, we'll look at the different types of materials, and more importantly, we'll look at the failure modes of those materials and what can make them fail. Another tutorial that we'll do within the QRA module is we'll look at pressure system safety. So there we'll cover a specific session looking at the types of pressure system that is, from hydraulic to pneumatic. We'll look at the control and protective systems within those processes. More importantly, we'll look at the hazards and the dangers that are contained within these types of process, and unfortunately the consequences as well. So that's just two of the tutorials that you'd expect to see sitting under QRA. Now, I did mention also as a module something called Applied Research Methods. Applied Research Methods is really a precursor to you doing your dissertation. So in Applied Research Methods, we'll teach you about qualitative and quantitative analysis. We'll instruct you on the different types of research methods and methodologies, the theories that are out there. We'll introduce you to how to perform data analysis from both a qualitative perspective and a quantitative perspective. So in terms of qualitative, we'll probably introduce you to the techniques of thematic analysis, discursive analysis, content analysis, and maybe grounded theory, or systematic type of reviews, meta-analyses and things like that. In quantitative, where we're dealing with numbers, we'll ask you to sort of undertake what we call correlations or relationship tests between variables, or to conduct t-tests to examine significant differences between data sets, and if those differences are significant. Because it's massively important as practitioners that we understand what research tells us, because you can take that on board, you can interpret what research papers are telling us and look at the findings and the results of those papers. You'll be able to understand what they're saying and you'll be able to use that to support any argument that you might want to forward to champion health and safety to either the board of directors or to your CEO. So it's vitally important that, you know, within applied research methods, we develop those skill sets. The last element of applied research methods, you'll be asked to put together a research proposal. Now that research proposal, after you've been taught all the different elements within applied research methods, will form the blueprint for your research going forwards. So that research proposal is effectively a litmus test. It's you looking at a subject of interest. It's you doing some pre-reading on that and explaining to us the type of research you're going to do, the type of approach you're going to do, what's the research question you want to answer, etc. So that's the applied research methods module, and that then leads into your dissertation. Obviously, everybody has different learning abilities, and some people learn differently from a visual perspective or from an auditory perspective. So we understand that, and we imply a wide range of teaching, delivery, and learning methods. So yes, you'll have face-to-face lectures, online tutorials. You might have laboratory practicals, IT lab practicals. There's an element and an expectation that you will undertake some independent study. At master's level, you know, we want you to become independent learners. You might be involved in a work-based project. If you're doing a research dissertation, you might be doing it for your employer, or you might be doing it for a different client. So part of your research dissertation may involve working within an organisation and conducting a work-based project. When we identify an opportunity, we also conduct what we call value-added workshops. And that might be specific workshops about chemical safety, or it might be about emergency planning, where we get groups of students and we conduct desktop exercises around emergency planning with them. Where necessary and where we have an opportunity, we'll also bring visiting experts in to talk about their experiences of health and safety in their specific sectors. Your access to all this information will be achieved through what we call the virtual learning environment, and that's the interface. That's the electronic interface that you'll have to access all your taught materials. Now, within that learning environment, it's an absolutely massive piece of software. And if there's any question that you might have on your studies or anything at all to do with academic life, it's on the virtual learning environment. So you'll be able to access libraries, help sites in there, information sites, online videos that have already been uploaded there to help the student during their academic journey. Obviously, online discussions might form part of a module, the lectures, site visits, excuse me, site visits where we can, and where we identify an opportunity, we might do a site visit. We can't guarantee it, and that depends on the timetables and the availability. But from time to time, we do sort of take students out where we've got an opportunity to look at different sites. And obviously, you've got your research project. Now, because we've got a variety of delivery of teaching, we've obviously got a variety of assessment formats, because some people are better at certain types of assessment than others. So we will have this normal assignments, which might be a report, it might be an essay. You will have an examination to undertake as part of this award, and that will be in the module Health and Safety Practice. You may be asked to put together, or you will be asked to put together a portfolio in sensible risk management, and that will be a portfolio of 4 different risk assessments supported by a reflective statement. And obviously, in some of the modules, you may be asked to do a number of different assignments. You may be asked to do an essay or a report, and support that with a presentation, because it's important that you people develop your presentational skills and have the confidence to stand up in front of different audiences and confidently get across the message you want to deliver. And sometimes we'll build quizzes into that as well, just to give it a little bit of difference. In terms of support and contact time, all our students are allocated academic advisors, and that's in relation to advice or pastoral care. We have a range of wellbeing support services or student support services available. So if you've got an issue or you're struggling with something at MDIS, you can go to your student support contact and they will help you wherever possible, or signpost you to where you can get the necessary assistance. If you are struggling with assignments, or you've got something significant that's happened in your life that's having a large impact, then MDIS and LBU have extension and mitigation processes in place. So those are available and you can apply for those again via the VLE, and we're quite accommodating if it's a serious case. So we have those facilities available for us. After you've submitted your research proposal in applied research methods, then part of the process for that is to identify you a research supervisor. So then you can work with your research supervisor who will support you through your research dissertation journey. They won't do the work for you and they won't pre-mark or anything like that, but they will make sure you're on the right track. So they'll check if you're deviating from what you initially set out to do and make sure you get back on track. Mentioned the formats of delivery in a previous slide. Now I'm going to put a graph up now that's I think is quite an interesting graph, and it's that. And what that shows is, and I accept it's UK data, but what that shows is the rate of fatal injury in the UK since 1981 to 2019. And you can see there's been a significant downward trend since 1981 to 2013. And we've got to ask ourselves why then have we not seen a continuation of that downward trend? Because when we look at the data, it's been relatively flat since about 2014. And you have to ask yourself, well, why is that? What needs to change? And when you look at what we have done since that period of time, 1981, we've introduced a lot of controls, we've put a lot of legislation in place, we understand policies and procedures better, we understand hazards better. But what we don't really understand very well, and this is part of what we want people to develop into and what needs to change, it's people. And it's why do people do what they do? So part of what we need to develop you into is what we call a change agent, because you can put all the policies in place, you can put all the procedures in place, you can put all the physical controls in place. That doesn't mean people are going to use them. So hopefully our students will go away with the skill sets to become a change agent, where you can go into an organisation or a company and affect change that improves health and safety, because that's the next big milestone in improving health and safety, and it's in improving safety behaviour. Now, hopefully you've got a little bit of a flavour there in terms of who we are. Hopefully you know who MDIS are, otherwise you wouldn't be sort of looking at joining them, and I hope you do. You'll look at the difference, the core content for the course, the types of modules that you'll do, the types of experience that we hope you gain, the types of teaching we do, and the types of assessment that we do. But ultimately, do students find it valuable? Well, I'm going to close this presentation with a couple of little stories, and the first one's about Ben. Ben joined LBU and he worked hard on his course and he came away with the first class honours. Upon leaving the university, he went to work for a small company in the southern part of the country. You may have heard of them, maybe, I hope you have. It was called Pinewood Studios. So Ben went on, and because he'd gone away with a really good classification of award, it opens doors for you. So he actually went to work in an industry where he didn't even think he had an option to work. One of the things that we do with Ben is from time to time we'll invite him back and to talk to students, part of our induction process. And it's always nice to see the smiles on the face when Ben says, well, yes, I'm here doing this induction today, but yesterday I was conducting tours on the latest Star Wars films, such as the Millennium Falcon set. Now, Ben worked for Pinewood Studios for a number of years, And then he moved back up to the Leeds area, and he now works for a leading television company and is responsible for a number of film sets around the organisation. And he has a list of, shall we say, high-profile celebrities that is responsible for the health and safety of when they come and do filming in the film sets. So I hope that gives you a little bit of a flavour of the diverse communities that our students go on and work within. You know, you don't just have to work in construction. You go away with a really good award, and it opens up a lot of opportunity for you. Another student tale, Ian completed his master's degree in 2019, and he did really well. He got a distinction in that award, and Ian works for the local authority in Leeds, because we train a lot of their local authority regulators. He's a senior health and safety manager in the authority, and he's currently looking at men's occupational health. One of the things that Ian has always said, and it's very true, health and safety is not a desk job. You don't change anything from being sat behind a desk. You've got to go out and make it happen. And that's why we want you to become change agents. Now, the diversity that Ian gets involved with in his health and safety duties is quite wide. A few years ago, he was responsible for the health and safety of the what it was then the Tour de France as it went round Yorkshire. So Ian's part of that. He looked at the health and safety of the participants and the members of public as they went through and through different parts of the city. He also gets involved in the carnival that we have in a certain part of the city. So quite flamboyant, but again, he's responsible for the health and safety of that event. And in terms of other types of events, he gets involved in. They could be large music events. So within the city, we'll put on large outdoor concerts. And again, it's Ian's job to make sure that that is conducted safely. So it just gives you a flavour of the types of sector and the types of activities you can get involved in. Now, hopefully students enjoy the experience. And this slide is about a young man called Adam. And Adam came to study with us a few years ago, and he completed his award. He was quite a shy young man when he first joined us, but by the time he'd left us, his confidence had grown massively, and he was employed fairly quickly as a health and safety executive in an automotive manufacturing company in Malaysia. Now, did he enjoy the experience? Well, I'd like to draw your attention to that bottom sentence. And about halfway through, when he talks about his time at Leeds Beckett, and he says it was the best 3 years of my life. And I've got an open invitation from Adam that if I'm ever over in Malaysia, he wants me to go and he'll take me around and show me what he does and so on. So I hope that shows you the type of relationship we build with our students. You know, once you leave, don't think that's the end of the relationship. We keep in contact, and we enjoy it when our students keep in contact with us and come back and relay some of their experience to students that are just starting their academic journey. Why study at MDIS and Leeds Beckett? Well, as mentioned previously, all our lecturers are experienced practitioners with real life experience. And what that allows us to do, it allows us to offer teaching and construct our teaching in such a way that it directly relates to the real world. It's not theoretical, it's what we've all experienced of individuals ourselves. I myself have over 30 years experience of working in high hazardous industries, and I use that experience to the benefit of my students. We maintain close links with employers, so we have our finger on the pulse to make sure what we're doing is what they want. We utilise visiting experts. As mentioned previously, we have excellent employment rates for further study. We enjoy excellent course and module evaluations by our students who give us feedback not just on the course but on the modules themselves. So we have excellent feedback from our students. We have workable timetables. We understand that individuals are often working full time. So MDIS have a timetable that supports that. So your timetable will allow you to continue working, but also to achieve the award as well. So we have excellent timetables. We've both got multi-million-pound facilities, both MDIS and LBU. We pride ourselves in the investment that we put in and in the facilities that we both have. And obviously, the MSc and the undergraduate awards are both accredited by the Institution of Occupational Safety and Health, obviously IOSH. If I've not answered any questions that you might have in this presentation, or you may think of something later that you want to ask, then please do contact the admissions team at MDIS. And if they can't answer the question, I'm sure they'll direct you to a member of the team at MDIS that can answer that question for you. So I hope you've enjoyed that little bit of a presentation. Thank you very much for opening it and listening to me. And obviously, MDIS hope to see you soon. Thank you.
All right, we've reached the end of today's virtual event, and we certainly hope that you find value in the various segments and are better informed of it. In case you have missed out on any of the recordings today, you can still catch the live recordings on the MDIS Facebook and YouTube. And if you want to check out the latest happenings at MDIS, keep yourself up to date with us on LinkedIn at MDIS, Facebook at MDIS.sg, Instagram at MDIS_SG, and Telegram as well on at MDIS_SG. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up the MDIS Postgraduate Virtual Fair. Thank you all for the viewers to make your time today and join us here. Once again, it's been our pleasure to host this event. I wish you all a pleasant day, and remember to stay safe.